Season 2, Episode 6.
Welcome to the Muslim Life Hackers podcast, the weekly podcast providing you with the knowledge, tools, and connections to help you get ahead in life. And now for your hosts, Mifrah, Mahroof, and Mohamed.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back, Muslim Life Hackers, to another episode of the podcast. This is your host, Maheen Malik here, bringing you another great interview with people doing remarkable things. Today's guest on the show is Adel Mohamed from Tanzeel. Here on the show, we don't just want to give you the know-how on how to hack your life, but also inspire you as well and share the stories of others who are doing incredible things. Adel is one of those super cool guys who happens to be a lawyer by day and alongside his team over at Tanzeel, a Quran maestro by night. I catch up with Adel on how he got involved in the community work that he's doing now. We really get into Tanzeel, which is a huge online Quran memorization platform where they help students from all around the world interact, connect, and really understand the Quran, alongside qualified teachers who are there with students every step of the way. Adel gives us the rundown on how it all started, what are the challenges when it comes to working with others in this community kind of field, and how to keep such a big project continuously afloat, not to mention juggling teachers and students from all around the world and a 9-to-5 job on the side. This talk was quite humbling for me, subhanAllah, and it was really interesting hearing from Adel and how it all got started. And with that being said, let's get right into the conversation. Assalamu alaikum, Muslim Life Hackers. Today we've got a special guest on the show today, Adel Mohamed with us. So Adel, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, and thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be with you and all of your listeners.
Thank you so much. So Adel, just for our listeners who don't know about you, give us some background on yourself.
Okay, so I've just gone over 30, so I'm starting to feel old these days. Basically, I live in Melbourne, Australia. I went to school and university here, studied science and law at university.
Science and law, that's a cool combination.
Yeah, well, I was probably confused at the start and I worked out what I wanted to do. So I do work as a lawyer at the moment. And my real job, or the job that I love doing, is the work that I do with Tanzeel.
So Adel, together with your job, like your 9-to-5 job as a lawyer, you also got these side projects as well. And one of them is called Tanzeel. Now, where did this all start? And could you give us some background on the project that you've got going, Tanzeel?
Where it all started from is quite interesting because I'd just joined a community development organization. There wasn't really that much to do, but they felt they needed someone of my skill set. So one day they were talking about, we need more people to run some of our projects, etc., etc. So I put up my hand and I said, look, I have capacity and I'm keen, so give me something to do. And they actually selected for me to run a Quran project for them, alhamdulillah.
Well, you could say it's kind of like the opposite of what you were working on at the time.
Exactly. But Allah has amazing ways of working, and He just gave me the opportunity. So alhamdulillah, we started on that. It was supposed to be an on-site program, so we were working with various masajid, some Islamic schools and things like that to try and start up some classes. So after a while we sort of decided, okay, we needed to put a stop to this because it wasn't really working. Period of about 2 years we were really trying and thinking, and yes, we hadn't given up on the idea, but something wasn't gelling for us to give us something that would actually work. Eventually, and this is amazing, it's a very amazing story, and the way Allah worked, one of our members of the team had a chance meeting with a random individual from Egypt on Skype. To this day, can't really explain how that came about, but they had this discussion, found out that this individual, he's got a PhD in Arabic and very passionate about teaching online, etc., etc. So we just worked with him and started off, and it's grown from there. So that's the beginning of Tanzeel, and I think I always say to people that it just Allah fulfilling His promise to protect His book. The way that things came about, it's not because of anything that we've done. He just brought the right people together at the right time.
And I just want to get more into what it is that Tanzeel, what is unique about Tanzeel, an online platform that you guys have launched. So is it purely online?
Yes, it is purely online. We work with teachers based out of Egypt, and Yeah, so to me that's an amazing thing as well, because and these teachers aren't necessarily in the big metropolitan kind of areas of Egypt, of Alexandria, Cairo, but they're in a village about 2 hours out of Cairo. So to me it's amazing that Allah has given these individuals the opportunity to enter the living rooms of people around the world. Like, we have students from Australia, from the UK, from Canada, India, all over the world. So it's just amazing. I don't know, I just find it really amazing how Allah has taken individuals who would otherwise not really have any connection with, the outside world, really. And He's given them the skill set of the Quran, and He's given them the ability to connect with people through the internet. So that's what I guess what we're really about, is to trying to maximize the skills that are out there within the Ummah and bring it to the people that probably don't have access to it.
Creating access to teachers who help you memorize the Quran and understand the Quran.
Yes. And one of our key focuses, you mentioned the right word there, is understanding, because as our slogan goes, connect with the Quran. So it's part of the culture, or it's just become the way that people study the Quran in general, where the focus is always on memorizing or reading, but the understanding component of it isn't as given as much importance. But something that we want to do with Tanzeel, and this is an ongoing struggle for us, and we'll keep struggling until we really crack the code, is to get our teachers to a level where they're able to assist students day to day with their understanding of the Quran as well. And
it sounds like it's scattered pieces that all came together that make the project that is Tanzeel. How did you connect with all of these, how you said that you've got teachers who are in villages that are 2-3 hours away from Cairo, which is the center? How did you guys get in touch with those teachers and bring them into your project?
It just happened that the individual that we started to work with, who's managing our center, basically he's from that area, so he worked the people that he knew, teachers and things, to sort of bring them online with us.
So going more into the project itself, and you must have faced many challenges along the way. One of them was at first the students just weren't interested, so that was one of the challenges that you had. Second was the teachers that you needed to source out, and third, transferring it over into this online platform. How did you manage to do all of this?
I mean, I believe it's a lot of passion, a lot of hard work, and a lot of dua. I think, inshallah, it's very clear to us what we need to do to make this happen. Not the concern. I guess the concern is finding the time, finding the team, finding the individuals, finding the resources, funds and people to put things together. So, and alhamdulillah, we just make dua that Allah allows us to continue.
So what would you say was your biggest dua at the time, that you were making?
The biggest dua that I was making then and that I'm making now is that Allah brings us the right people at the right time.
Because people are such a big component. You can't do things without your team collaborating with you in an effective way. And when you have people that they just don't really get the vision of what your project is about, it just kind of collapses around you. So how did you manage to find the people that you've got right now? So
one of the tricks that I have up my sleeve is I try to take people to Egypt with me, and when they come with me I find that they're hooked, and then they want to do things to make this project grow. So one of my friends who's from Canada, it took me one whole year of Skype conversations with him to convince him that he needed to come with me to Egypt. And alhamdulillah, he did. And now he's spearheading our teacher training development and all the work around the curriculum, etc., etc. It's things that I really couldn't do. So the last trip that I went on, we took 5 people with us. So inshallah, alhamdulillah, I'm hoping that we'll get similar output from all of them as well.
Inshallah. So get them hooked with a trip to Egypt.
Well, when you go there and you see the potential of it all, it's amazing. And I say to people, people look at the project sometimes and they're wowed by it. You got these teachers, you got this website, etc., etc. But I say to people, really, we're just at the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we can achieve. There's so many people in a place like Egypt, mashallah. It's blessed with the Quran that we need to try and maximize that for the rest of the Ummah. So we're really, really, if in terms of what we want to achieve, I would say we're at about 25%. So we need more people on board, inshallah, to help us keep progressing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And I just want to touch on your travels for a second. Now, you've done a lot of traveling, especially for the Tanzeel project, Quran memorization, and you must have met some incredible people along the way. And has there been any that stuck with you? Any?
I would say, I mean, I have met many amazing people, alhamdulillah, but really, I can't really go past our teachers. Absolutely amazing, mashallah. I mean, we've demanded of them that they actually learn the English language so that they can communicate with people like yourself and myself, and they've done it. Like, I can't see myself learning Arabic the way they've managed to pick up the English language. So I think that they're amazing. But I mean, one of the stories I'll probably share with the listeners here is this time when we went to Egypt. We were there and we saw a baby's sort of cot in the center, and we were wondering what was going on, and it turned out that a teacher had a baby just a week ago, and she was keen to come back and start teaching. It was just...
No way. That's commitment.
I mean, Allah blessed me with a son 2.5 years ago, and I know the struggle it was on me as the father, let alone being the mother, after you have a child, and I just find that totally amazing. So, and each of the teachers have their own personal stories which would blow us all away, and don't think we have the time in this podcast.
It's fantastic how like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like connects people to the Quran and like projects that really make it happen. It's just amazing the ways that he works and how it just comes about. It just leaves you astonished.
Yeah, I mean, something that I do say to people and to my team as well is that we're just blessed to be given this opportunity, and it can be taken away from us as well just as fast. So we need to be conscious of that when we're working on something like Tanzeel, because it is an absolute honor to be able to try and bring the Quran alive.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just like amazed at the sheer amount of work that's gone into here. Like, you've got around almost 200 students around the world. You're coordinating like a international team. You have to travel to Egypt now and again to like check up on how things are going. How do you manage it all? Like, what are the processes that are going on behind the scenes that are helping Tanzeel stay up?
Talking about how I manage my time and things like that to sort of make these things happen, I would say number one secret is to make the use of your mornings. I mean, there is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he has said that there's the blessing in the morning, and I vouch for this 100%. Like, sometimes I'm really tired and want to sleep, but I push myself to wake up and do the work. A, because I can do it in peace without my son disturbing,
screaming and yelling.
But B, because I get twice as much done. Just make the use of the mornings, and really, I think people need to do what they're really passionate about, and then it doesn't feel like a job as such. I'm having fun. Every minute I do Tanzeel work, maybe I'm being a bit selfish, but for me, it's just what I love doing. So it's a good way to spend my time.
Make use of the mornings, and then you'll be able to do double the work and just do what you find fun and you're passionate about.
Exactly.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us on the show, Adel. That's all we've got time for. For our listeners who want to connect with you, where can we find you on the web?
Our website is www.tanzeel.org. Please come and check us out.
Okay, guys, please check out Tanzeel and Adel's website. Over there, they're doing amazing stuff, connecting people all around the world with the Quran. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, Adel, and we look forward to talking with you again.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alright, so that's the end of the interview with Adel. Inshallah, it was beneficial and inspiring, and you learned something new. And do check out Tanzeel over at tanzeel.org. As usual, you can find out more on this episode, plus all the links and references mentioned in the show, our previous episodes and interviews, all of it over at our website, muslimlifehackers.com. Alright, so let's get serious now. Have you been enjoying the show? If so, please share the love by leaving us a review on iTunes. Go to muslimlifehackers.com/iTunes and drop us a line on there and give us a rating. It really helps us tremendously with reaching more and more listeners and keeping the podcast visible. So it's muslimlifehackers.com/iTunes. We would really appreciate it. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Until next time, aim high, take action, and be awesome. Magesi zameni ukwenza ngokuhle sisazi